Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when pain feels louder than purpose, when betrayal echoes more strongly than hope, and when the wounds inflicted by others seem to define the direction of your journey. You remember the words that broke your confidence, the actions that shattered your trust, the people who walked away when you needed them most. It is in these moments that your heart quietly asks, will things ever change? Will I ever rise again? And the answer, though it may not always come immediately, is already written into the fabric of your destiny. Restoration is not only possible, it is approaching with power and purpose. What you are going through right now is not the end of your story. It may feel like a pause, a delay, or even a defeat, but it is none of those things. It is a preparation. Every tear you have cried has been seen. Every silent prayer you have whispered has been heard. Every moment of endurance when you chose to keep going instead of giving up has been recorded. There is a divine process at work in your life, even when you cannot see it, even when you do not understand it. And that process is leading you to a moment where what was broken will be rebuilt, what was lost will be restored, and what was taken will be returned in a way that leaves no doubt that it was not by your strength alone. The people who hurt you may have thought they were writing the final chapter of your life. They may have believed that their actions would define your future, that their rejection would limit your potential, that their betrayal would silence your voice. But they underestimated something powerful within you, a resilience placed deep in your spirit, a strength that does not come from human approval, but from a higher source. And that strength has been growing in you even in your weakest moments. Restoration is not just about getting back what you lost. It is about becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more grounded than you were before. It is about standing in a place where your identity is no longer shaped by what others did to you, but by what you have overcome. And when that restoration begins to unfold, it will not happen in secret. It will happen in a way that is visible, undeniable, and unmistakable. There is something profound about being restored in front of those who doubted you, not because it proves them wrong, but because it reveals the truth about who you have always been. It shows that your worth was never dependent on their opinions. It demonstrates that your future was never controlled by their actions. And it makes it clear that what was meant to break you has actually built you into something greater. But before that moment of restoration comes, there is often a period of waiting, and waiting can be difficult. It can test your patience, challenge your faith, and make you question whether anything is changing at all. Yet it is in this waiting season that the most important work is being done. Your character is being refined. Your perspective is being transformed. Your strength is being developed. You are being prepared not just to receive restoration, but to sustain it. If restoration came too quickly without preparation, it might not last. But when it comes after a season of growth, after a period of endurance, after a journey of learning and healing, it becomes something that cannot easily be taken away. It becomes a foundation, not just a moment. You may not see it yet, but doors are being aligned in your favor. Opportunities are being positioned in your path. People who will support, encourage, and uplift you are being brought into your life. And at the same time, the pain you experienced is being transformed into purpose. The very things that once hurt you will become the tools that help you rise. One day, you will stand in a place where you are no longer defined by your past. You will look around and realize that you are stronger than you ever imagined, that you have more peace than you thought possible, that you have stepped into a level of confidence that no one can take from you. And in that moment, those who once overlooked you, doubted you, or even hurt you will see the transformation. They will see that you did not give up. They will see that you did not allow bitterness to take root in your heart. They will see that you chose growth over resentment, faith over fear, perseverance over defeat, and they will recognize that something greater has been at work in your life. But this is not about proving anything to anyone else. It is about stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be. It is about living in a way that reflects the strength, the grace, and the purpose that have been placed within you. It is about walking forward with confidence, knowing that your story is not defined by what happened to you, but by how you rose above it. Do not rush the process. Do not lose heart in the waiting. Do not allow the pain of the past to overshadow the promise of the future. There is a restoration coming that will make sense of everything you have been through. There is a breakthrough ahead that will remind you why you had to endure the struggle. There is a moment approaching where you will see clearly that every setback, every disappointment, every hardship was leading you to something greater. Hold on to hope, even when it feels fragile. Keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. Trust that there is a purpose in every step you are taking, even the difficult ones, because what is ahead of you is not just recovery, it is renewal. It is not just repair, it is transformation. It is not just getting back to where you were, it is rising to a place you've never been before. And when that moment of restoration arrives, it will not only change your circumstances, it will change your perspective, your confidence, your outlook, and your understanding of what is possible in your life. There are seasons in life when the weight of pain feels unbearable, when disappointment lingers longer than expected, and when the wounds left by others seem too deep to heal. In those moments, it is easy to believe that what you are experiencing is the conclusion of your journey, that the hardship you're facing is somehow the final definition of your life. But what feels like an ending is often something entirely different. It is a preparation, a hidden process, quietly shaping you for something far greater than you can currently see. Pain has a way of distorting perspective. It convinces you that nothing good can come from what you are going through. It whispers that the betrayal, the rejection, the loss, and the setbacks are permanent. It tries to anchor you in the present struggle and blind you to the possibility of a future filled with restoration. Yet, beyond what you feel and beyond what you can see, something is being arranged. There is a divine orchestration taking place, one that does not ignore your pain but uses it as a tool to prepare you for what is ahead. Every difficult experience carries within it the seeds of transformation. The moments that tested your endurance are the very moments that are strengthening your spirit. The situations that forced you to stand alone are teaching you resilience. The times when you felt overlooked or undervalued are shaping your understanding of true worth. None of it is wasted. Even when it seems like nothing is changing, everything is moving beneath the surface. Preparation often happens in silence. It does not announce itself with immediate results or visible progress. Instead, it works quietly within you, developing patience, building character, and reshaping your mindset. It is in this unseen process that you are being equipped for the restoration that is to come. Because restoration is not just about receiving something back. It is about becoming the kind of person who can carry it, sustain it, and use it with wisdom. If everything were restored instantly without growth, without understanding, without change, it might not last. But when restoration follows preparation, it becomes something solid and enduring. It becomes something that cannot easily be shaken because it is built on a foundation that has been strengthened through trials. There is also a purpose in the timing of your restoration. It may not come when you expect it, and it may not unfold in the way you imagine, but it will come at the right moment. Timing is part of the preparation. It ensures that when the doors open, you are ready to walk through them with confidence. It ensures that when opportunities appear, you have the clarity and strength to embrace them. It ensures that when restoration happens, you recognize its value and do not take it for granted. You may feel like nothing is happening, like your efforts are unnoticed and your prayers unnoticed, but just because you cannot see movement does not mean there is no progress. Just because you cannot feel change does not mean transformation is not taking place. Growth often occurs in ways that are not immediately visible. It happens in your thoughts, in your attitude, in your response to challenges, in your ability to keep going, even when it is difficult. Think about how much stronger you are now compared to when the pain first began. Think about how your perspective has shifted, how your endurance has increased, how your ability T, O handle difficulties, has grown. These are signs of preparation. These are indicators that something is being built within you. There is also a refining aspect to preparation. It removes what is unnecessary and strengthens what is essential. It teaches you to let go of what no longer serves you and to hold on to what truly matters. It helps you develop a deeper sense of purpose and a clearer understanding of who you are. And as this refining process continues, you begin to realize that you are not the same person you once were. You are stronger, wiser, and more grounded. Restoration is already on its way, even if it has not yet arrived in its full form. It is being shaped by everything you are going through right now. The pain you feel is not meaningless. The struggle you are facing is not without purpose. The challenges you are enduring are not permanent barriers. They are stepping stones leading you to a place of renewal. There will come a moment when you will look back and understand why things had to happen the way they did. You will see how every difficulty contributed to your growth, how every setback played a role in your preparation, how every moment of endurance brought you closer to restoration. And in that moment, what once felt like an ending will be revealed as a beginning, so do not lose hope in the process. Do not allow temporary pain to convince you of a permanent defeat. Do not mistake preparation for abandonment. What you are experiencing right now is part of a larger plan, one that is leading you toward restoration in a way that is deeper, stronger, and more meaningful than you could have imagined. What others intended to use against you, what they hoped would weaken you, has not destroyed you. It has been shaping you in ways you did not realize at the time. When people act out of jealousy, insecurity, or misunderstanding, their actions can leave deep marks. Words can cut, betrayal can shake your foundation, and rejection can make you question your value. But what they fail to understand is that their actions do not have the power to define your destiny. Instead, those very moments have become part of a process that is strengthening you from the inside out. There's a difference between being broken and being built. At first, it may feel like everything is falling apart. Your confidence may be shaken, your trust may be damaged, and your sense of direction may feel unclear. But beneath that surface experience, something else is happening. Strength is being formed, character is being developed, endurance is taking root in your life. What appears to be destruction is often construction in disguise. Strength is not developed in comfort. It is not formed in moments when everything is easy and predictable. It is built in the middle of challenges, in seasons when you are forced to keep going, despite the pain, in moments when you choose to rise even when it would be easier to give up. Every time you refused to let bitterness take over your heart, you became stronger. Every time you chose to move forward despite discouragement, you grew. Every time you held on when everything in you wanted to let go, you were building a resilience that cannot be easily shaken. The actions of others may have been unfair, and the hurt you experienced may have been undeserved. But even in that, there is a transformation taking place. You are learning discernment. You are becoming more aware of who truly belongs in your life and who does not. You are gaining wisdom about relationships, about boundaries, and about the importance of protecting your peace. These are not losses. They are lessons that are equipping you for a better future. There is also a deep internal strengthening that happens when you go through adversity. You begin to rely less on external validation and more on an inner sense of purpose. You realize that your worth is not determined by how others treat you. You begin to understand that your value does not decrease because someone failed to recognize it, and as this realization grows within you, it becomes a source of strength that no one can take away. The pain you experience has also expanded your capacity for empathy. You now understand what it feels like to be hurt, to be overlooked, to be misunderstood. And because of that, you are able to extend compassion to others in a way you could not before. What once wounded you is now shaping you into someone who can bring healing to others. That is a transformation that turns pain into purpose. It is important to recognize that what was meant to harm you has limitations. It may have affected you for a moment, but it does not have the authority to control your future. It may have slowed you down, but it cannot stop your progress. It may have challenged your confidence, but it cannot erase your potential. There is something greater within you that continues to rise, no matter what has been done against you. There is also a quiet power in overcoming. When you rise above what was meant to bring you down, you step into a level of strength that is unshakable. You begin to walk with a confidence that is not based on circumstances, but on the knowledge of what you have survived. You carry a sense of purpose that is rooted in experience, not just in theory. And that kind of strength becomes evident to others, even without you saying a word. The process of being built is not always comfortable. It requires you to face difficult emotions, to confront painful truths, and to let go of what no longer serves you. It challenges you to grow beyond your comfort zone and to step into a version of yourself that is stronger and more resilient. But as difficult as it may be, it is also necessary, because the person you are becoming is capable of handling the restoration that is ahead. What others did may have been out of your control, but how you respond is within your power. And every time you choose growth over resentment, every time you choose strength over defeat, you are actively shaping your future. You are refusing to allow someone else's actions to dictate your outcome. You are reclaiming your narrative and stepping into your purpose. There will come a time when you will look back and see that what felt like a breaking point was actually a turning point. You will realize that the very things you thought would destroy you were the things that built you into who you are today. You will see that your strength did not come despite the challenges, but because of them. And in that realization, you will understand that nothing was wasted. Every experience, every hardship, every moment of pain contributed to your growth. It all played a role in shaping your character, strengthening your spirit, and preparing you for what is ahead. What was meant to break you has instead become the foundation upon which you stand, stronger than ever before. There is a season in life that often feels the most difficult to endure, not because of visible struggle alone, but because of silence, the season of waiting. It is the space between what was and what will be, the place where you are no longer who you used to be, yet not fully where you are meant to be. In this in-between, it can feel as though time is standing still, as though your efforts are not producing results, and as though nothing significant is happening. But the truth is, this season is not empty. It is full of purpose, full of quiet transformation, and full of preparation that cannot be rushed. Waiting challenges your patience in ways that nothing else can. It forces you to confront your doubts, your fears, and your uncertainties. It tests whether you will continue to believe when there is no immediate evidence, whether you will continue to move forward when the path is unclear, whether you will continue to move forward when the path is unclear, whether you will hold on when everything around you feels uncertain. And in that testing, something valuable is being formed within you: endurance. Endurance is not built overnight. It is developed through consistent perseverance, through choosing to keep going even when you do not feel like it, through standing firm when it would be easier to walk away. Every day that you continue despite the waiting, you are strengthening a part of yourself that will be essential for what lies ahead, because the restoration you are moving toward will require not just excitement, but stability, not just opportunity, but the strength to maintain it. In the waiting, your character is being refined. This refinement is not about punishment. It is about preparation. It is about shaping your attitude, your mindset, and your response to life. It is about teaching you humility, patience, and trust. It is about removing the things that could hinder you in the future and strengthening the qualities that will help you succeed. These changes may not always be visible, but they are deeply significant. There are habits being formed in this season that will carry into your future: the discipline you are developing, the consistency you are building, the resilience you are cultivating. These are not temporary traits. They are becoming part of who you are. And when the moment of restoration arrives, These qualities will allow you to handle it with wisdom and maturity. Waiting also teaches you to trust beyond what you can see. It shifts your focus from immediate results to long-term purpose. It invites you to believe that there is a bigger picture, even when you only see a small part of I. This kind of trust is powerful because it is not dependent on circumstances. It remains steady even when things do not go as planned. In this season, your perspective is being transformed. You are learning to value growth over speed, depth over appearance, and purpose over convenience. You are beginning to understand that some things take time because they are meant to last. Quick results may bring temporary satisfaction, but lasting restoration requires careful preparation. It is also in the waiting that healing takes place. The pain you have experienced does not simply disappear. It is processed, understood, and gradually released. You are given the space to reflect, to learn, and to grow from what you have been through. This healing is essential because it ensures that when you move forward, you do so with a heart that is not weighed down by past wounds. Sometimes the waiting season feels like a delay, but it is actually alignment. Things are being arranged in ways you cannot see. Opportunities are being positioned, circumstances are being prepared, and you are being placed in the right condition to receive what is coming. If everything happened immediately, without this alignment, it might not fit together the way it is meant to. There is also a strengthening of identity that occurs in this time. You begin to understand who you are beyond your circumstances. You discover a sense of purpose that is not dependent on external validation. You become more grounded, more secure, and more confident in your path. This internal stability becomes a foundation that supports everything you will build in the future. The waiting season is not wasted time. It is an investment. Every moment of patience, every act of perseverance, every step forward, even when it feels small, is contributing to something greater. You are being prepared in ways that will only become clear later. There will come a moment when the waiting ends and the restoration begins to unfold. And when that moment arrives, you will realize that you are ready. You will see that the strength you needed has been developed, that the wisdom you required has been gained, that the clarity you were seeking has been given. You will recognize that the waiting was not a setback, but a setup for something meaningful. And in that realization, you will understand that this season, as difficult as it may have been, was necessary. It was shaping you into someone who could not only receive restoration, but sustain it, appreciate it, and use it in a way that brings lasting impact to your life. There is a moment coming in your life when everything that has been happening beneath the surface will begin to rise into plain view, when the growth you have experienced in private will become visible in public, and when the restoration that has been forming quietly will unfold in a way that cannot be ignored. This kind of restoration is not hidden or subtle. It carries a weight, a clarity, and a presence that makes it undeniable to anyone who witnesses it. For a long time, you may have felt unseen. You may have wondered if your efforts mattered, if your endurance was worth it, if your journey had any real significance. There were moments when it seemed like others were moving ahead, while you were standing still, moments when your silence was mistaken for weakness and your patience was overlooked. But what was happening during that time was not a lack of progress. It was a preparation for something that would speak louder than words ever could. When restoration becomes visible, it does more than change your circumstances. It shifts how people perceive you. Those who once doubted you will begin to see you differently. Those who underestimated you will recognize a strength they did not notice before. Those who may have dismissed your potential will be confronted with the reality of your growth, not because you set out to prove them wrong, but because the transformation within you has reached a point where it cannot remain hidden. There is a powerful difference between temporary success and true restoration. Temporary success can be explained by circumstances or chance, but true restoration carries a depth that reflects a journey. It tells a story without needing explanation. It reveals that something meaningful has taken place over time. And when people witness that kind of transformation, they do not just see the outcome. They sense the process behind it. What makes this restoration undeniable is not just what you gain, but who you become. It is reflected in your confidence, not a loud or arrogant confidence, but a quiet assurance that comes from knowing what you have overcome. It is seen in your peace, a calmness that remains even in challenging situations. It is evident in your character, in the way you carry yourself, in the way you treat others, in the way you treat others, and the way you respond to life. There will be moments when those who hurt you will see this change. They will see that you are no longer affected in the same way, that you are no longer defined by what happened, that you have moved forward with strength and clarity. And in that moment, something shifts. Not necessarily in them, but in the situation itself. The narrative changes. What once looked like defeat now appears as growth. What once seemed like an ending now reveals itself as a beginning. But the true significance of this visible restoration is not about their reaction. It is about your realization. It is about recognizing how far you have come, how much you have grown, how much you have grown, how deeply you have been transformed. It is about seeing yourself in a new light, understanding your worth in a way that is no longer dependent on external opinions. There is also a responsibility that comes with visible restoration. When your growth becomes evident, it has the power to influence others. People who are going through their own struggles may look at your journey and find hope. They may see in you a reflection of what is possible. They may be encouraged to keep going because your story shows them that change can happen. This influence is not something you have to force. It happens naturally when you live authentically, when you walk in the strength